Good.
Yeah, well, it's funny because everybody's definition of good.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it's very nice to meet you.
Oh,
How did you come across me?
let's see. Oh, I think Leela was talking to somebody. Uh, uh, she was had a conversation and someone's name, yeah, Jeffrey's name, Jeffrey, and I was like, oh, who's this Jeffrey guy? And then and so I guess it's and then I saw the next day there was a video of you and Leela. Um, and so I was curious, and then I I looked at your Zoom meetings that you do, and uh, like your pointing is so clear, and you're so like bringing people, helping people to come to that understanding, and it was instead of someone just talking, and I thought that was really cool.
Cool. And where are you at? Have you studied, any teachers or that?
Uh, yeah, I came across I came across Ramana Maharshi in 2001. I was um I was looking for a spiritual teacher at that time. I didn't know they existed like in the modern day, actually. I lived in England in a small town and it's not very like spiritually open. And so it was like I came across Osho first
Hmm.
and I was like, wow, there's there's enlightened beings on the planet right now. And it was like a revelation. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna find my teacher. But then my spiritual teacher's Adida. Do you know
Hmm.
Adida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And um yeah, but I came across like Ramana Maharshi's teaching that year and it clicked. It was like, oh yeah, of course this makes sense. You're not this, you're not that, you're that which is eternal and never dies. And um but yeah, and then I've been involved in like Adidam for like a long time, still am, but um I think I'm just stepping back a little bit.
Yeah.
But Adida, his person, I'm very much connected to.
Hmm.
It's just I've like stepped back from the community a little bit because I'm exploring my life. I came to Berkeley to do like training massage,
Hmm.
um, but it's been nice being by myself as well. Um, yeah, I'm very passionate about um, realizing or understanding. I don't just being at home, no more seeking. And I know seeking's okay because there's. I've been listening to your talk, the one that Leela did of yours in
Yeah.
her voice,
Uh-huh.
but it's very powerful. Um, it kind of sinks in like more like it's that there never is anybody or any separate being.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's it. Mm.
Well, here the magic word was already.
For you.
Yeah, here for when I heard already from Nkosi about 3.5 years ago, all is this already. I didn't, you know, I didn't know what he was talking about, but it did seem kind of obvious that, well, if all is this already,
Mm.
then what's all the searching about?
Mm. And yeah, and so that's not it hasn't been new to me that like Adidas says it's always already the case, or like you would say, I'm already always already the case. The divine is always already the case. But now, since like seeing so many non-dual speakers emerge, and other seemingly other people are saying it, it's like, oh wow, like there's something to this that like people are recognizing that I like using the word God. I like God.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, God is always already the case. Um, so, so you in Kosi, yeah, you was drawn into this understanding through him. I thought he was quite a recent phenomena.
Well, as far as I know, it wasn't until 3.5 years ago when he first came to one of my Zooms that really anybody had ever heard of him, including me. I'm like, who is this guy? I mean, he just spoke so directly and so clearly with such authority, the kind of authority that a human belief can't hold a candle to.
I know what you mean. Yes. Yeah. So you were doing Zooms, but they were different. Like
Yeah, I used to do, which people seem to really like, you could call it deconstruction.
yeah,
So we would just like, even here in my apartment here in Los Angeles, we would sit and deconstruct words, and people seemed to really like it because they'd feel a relief. Like you know, we just take any word that seemed relevant,
yeah.
seeking or, freedom. And I would just like see if we could find it, you know, right now. Like look around for what it is, and we couldn't find it.
Hmm.
So, but eventually I stopped because I realized I could keep deconstructing words forever. Every week, it's like it gives the me something to do.
Hmm.
Oh, so it's like piecemeal. It's deconstructing one word at a time. And there's a whole dictionary. So I go, well, this is just seemingly another you know, thing for the me to do, so to say, is deconstruct words. It's like
And
still a doing. Go ahead.
what was the point of what happens when you deconstruct a word?
Well, when it seems real, it can have an effect, so to say. But if we look for it now and we can't find it, suddenly, like maybe the thing we thought was so solid and real and a problem,
Hmm.
if we can't find it.
Hmm.
And then eventually, when all is this just pulled the rug, like here, it just landed. You know, it just, I can't explain. It was like a bullseye, to the center of the bullseye. It was like, wow, all is this already. And it just stopped me in my little tracks.
Wow. Hmm. Hmm. But you was already kind of close, or you already had a sense of the the world being, uh, I don't know, not so solid or not so real.
Well, yeah, kind of all my life, like all my life, something from the time I was a kid, s- something seemed off, but I didn't know what it was. But something seemed off about life, and it
Hmm.
wouldn't go away, no matter the girlfriends, the money, cars, whatever. It was always there, you know, unfulfilled, looking for the next moment, something better.
Hmm.
Was here it was hell.
Oh, I I think that seems to be like a common part of people who understand the message that life was very shitty. Like where you just get, I don't know, forced into being hopeless. Was that the same?
Let's see, forced into hopeless.
Into
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
you could, well, the way I put it is it was seen that nothing worked. So
Mm,
there was like a giving up, like a true surrender. Like I've tried all my tricks. I've
mm,
tried all my little, and it never worked. It never worked. Nothing worked. So what do you do when nothing works?
yeah. You give up or you want to kill yourself. I don't know.
Well, it's hard to kill what's already not there.
Yeah, but you don't know that. I mean, some
Yes,
people don't know
exactly.
that.
Yeah, you don't know that. So you're
Yeah.
trying, but it does make sense. So this is kind of the little bell that went off like ding, ding, ding. That would explain why I could never fix the self. If there's not a self, if it's just imaginary, then that would explain why you can never, get it in shape. You know,
Mm,
you could never fix yourself. It always felt broken. But if
right.
it's
Yeah.
not there, that would that would explain why nothing works.
So, so like you came to this understanding. I'm gonna call it an understanding. Um, like 3.5 years ago.
Well, so I'm going to use a dirty word in
Okay.
the non-duality world. There is a deepening. Leela and I actually were just talking about this. There's not anybody to whom it deepens,
Mm,
but there can be like a getting it and then like a getting it even deeper.
yeah.
You'll remember this from the old dyeing the sarong in the river in the purple dye 100 times to get the purple to stay. One time isn't enough. If you stick,
Ah,
right, the white cloth in the purple
yeah.
dye,
Yeah.
one time's not going to cut it. So there's nothing wrong with understanding getting clearer or deeper or more solid. It's fine. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I don't find anything weird about that.
Well,
Um,
you've heard the non-duality police, right? Can we hear them now?
oh
Pulling
yeah.
up. Well, who is there to go deeper? Who is there to get it? No one. There's already no one.
Is it that like I mean, Adidas speaks about how there's identification to the gross, to the subtle, and the causal. Um, and then I don't know, and then beyond that. So is it that like there's not that of course there's this recognition that yeah, I'm not the body, and I'm not the mind, but there's still like a causal, like there's even another more subtler being of identification. I mean, so then I could understand, yeah, of course, there's a process. And even for Adida himself, like being, like he said he was in the seventh stage of life, whatever that means. But then there was this continual process until there was kind of, he calls, until there's translation, which I don't, I'm not going to go into because I'm not very well read. But yeah, but the process, there's still a constant, like, yeah, like a deepening until like the the body is just obliterated. Um, but for some reason he survived, like it happened to him. But like there's a complete shattering. So I can understand there being, that is not, that there is nothing, it's empty, but then there's still a deepening.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Adi. I used to read his books,
Oh
and
wow.
I had sub. Well, he started. I mean, his thing was, I think originally he's from New York, but then he had a little place here. It all began on Melrose in Los Angeles in his little
Yeah.
tiny, and he was just, the Shakti on that
Mm,
guy,
mm.
good looking, powerful, charismatic. He was hard to resist.
Did you meet him?
No, no, I
Mm,
never. He left and grabbed an island. Had a rich devotee who bought him an island, and
yes.
once he was there, he didn't have to ever look back. I didn't. I don't resonate with all these like the concepts. Like I don't know about seven stage and six stage, and say I don't know
Yeah.
about any of that. And it's same
Mm,
with Vedanta. You
mm,
know, same with Buddhism. All these levels
mm.
sound very juicy, kind of gives you a goal. Well, I'm here, but I want to get there. And so that's not how it's seen here.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, I'm not interested in that either. It's just like, um, so how did life change?
Yeah, I think it does. Again, that's not a dirty word. It does.
Yeah.
Let's start with lighter. It gets lighter.
Mm,
Just everything lighter. The thoughts are lighter. The feelings are lighter. There's a
mm.
relaxation about it because it used to be taken personally.
Oh, I don't know. Just a few days ago, I was using the word lighter. I don't know. Oh, maybe I went swimming. Went into we were shopping with my friend in Costco and don't know where else. And then we have a little Scotty dog. So we took her to a park where there was like a river or something. And it felt so good. It was so good. And whenever she does exercise, the little Scotty dog, Nessie, and I pick her up, she's lighter. She actually feels like so lighter. It's crazy. And like after swimming, I just felt like everything was washed. So there has been like there's I've been using like that maybe I've had like some old body work done on me and then I just felt lighter. So I can understand maybe what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just that the stories are no longer as heavy. There's a
Mm,
lightning, the story of me is so serious and so heavy and so important. It's all about me.
mm,
And that's a burden here. You, when it was seen that there was no past, that was tremendously freeing because there's this sense of carrying around my life and my stories, and I wasn't loved enough, and she broke my heart, all that sort of, like a wound, that
mm.
we're proudly just, and none of that, right, is actually happening right now. You can't find a past right now anywhere.
Because is just life is only ever just this. Whether there are thoughts arising in this and memories, um, there's not anything else that's real besides the thoughts and the images.
Yeah, exactly. Because what else can you find except what's here now? You can imagine anything, right?
Yeah,
Anything.
yeah.
But as far as like, look at the simplicity. So there's just the two of us having a little Zoom chat.
Mm,
That's what's going on here. Look how simple.
mm.
No big drama, no nothing to bring in, just two dudes chopping it up.
So, you've lived in your place for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was telling my friend, I said, this Michael Jeffries, he's a very simple guy. Like the room that you sit in is always the same.
Yeah, my sister and I came out opposite. I'm very neat and organized, and when I'm done eating, the plates get washed right away, and
Mm,
I'm
mm.
just where my sister uh was the opposite. She just
She like,
couldn't be bothered, dry cleaning on the floor, it didn't matter.
oh.
But everybody's different, that's the freedom. It's really what I love about this message is because it got me off of me
Mm,
and made me available to others.
mm.
So there was an openness here because I didn't have any crisis going on. There wasn't anything I was concerned with. So now I'm freed up. Like you can imagine how much energy that worrying constantly, am I getting enough? Am I getting taken advantage of? Am I making the best decision? It's very stressful and energy using.
So, okay, so now that you don't, everyone who thinks like that feels it's necessary to like, I've got to be thinking, okay, how am I gonna make money? And they've got into a car accident, which I did recently. And then, the stressing about the insurance and like what's gonna happen next. And now that you don't do that as much or at all, how does life happen? Like, can you give like a
Yeah,
testimony that it's, like,
yeah. So like a simple one was I was like rushing to get out of the shower to get here for you.
mm,
And at the same time, I knew it was okay that whatever time I was able to, if I was a minute late or whatever, it was going to be okay. Like there
mm,
was this okayness, but it doesn't preclude like everything is welcome. Like there's no more parsing of the thoughts. So there's no more pushing away of bad thoughts and only there's just what arises.
mm,
But it's just a thought. And, Leela, I put that funny picture of her. I don't know if you saw it in the community, but I found this pretty hilarious picture. But the quote of hers that I put with it, I really like. And it was that, thoughts don't refer to anybody.
mm,
They're just like 100% thought. They give the impression that they're talking to you, but are they? Is there really a you in there that they're talking to, or are they just thoughts basically talking to themselves?
right? I mean, if I had the thought like, oh, I need to go shopping now, or oh, my friend is probably waiting for me, my friend. So you're saying that but there isn't you, so it's easy. They're just thoughts.
Well, no, that's the funny thing is it's I don't know. Like that's the freedom is the not knowing.
Mm,
Before
mm,
it's the knowing that's the suffering. Oh, I know this is important.
mm.
So you can see it's backwards. The way we think knowledge is king. We
Yeah.
think knowledge is good and more knowledge is better. But
But the thing is, there's no sense of things are different because there's no sense of the me or there's like some people, like you say, they speak with such authority and so much confidence. Where does that come from?
that's a good question. That is a
Mm,
great question. So that was the thing about Nkosi is that I could see straight away that there wasn't a guy saying what he thought he knew.
Mm,
There's a difference when it's coming from the emptiness,
mm.
um, versus when it's coming from a so-called person. Somebody, that's why beliefs don't do well at like my meetings. If you bring up a belief, it just doesn't have the same authority that the emptiness seems to have.
Yeah. Mm.
So the seemingly in the story hardest thing that I noticed for people to get, so to say, is that it's already the case, so there's nothing to do.
Yeah, so that's what people they stumble on that because they're like, what do we do then? Or or but yeah, but things naturally just happen. Like there's an
Yeah,
attraction.
exactly.
But,
Beautiful. Yeah, you got
um
things. It turns out life doesn't need you.
yeah. I've thought about that before and I'm like, oh.
Well,
But yeah,
it could
but it
sound, I know it could sound negative. Like to me, you'll hear, oh, that's terrible. God doesn't want me. Well,
oh, I don't care.
no, that's not what's being shared. It's that there's just already not a you. Like it turns out it's always been this, and we can't say what this is.
Mm. I understand it more now that we've spoken about it. Um, like attraction, like there's just an attraction to drinking tea.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Beautiful. You don't need a reason for this to resonate. Like oftentimes people want a reason, you know.
So
It's
then
like,
everything is done out of joy then. Everything is just done out of maybe like just a kind of attraction.
yeah.
Because you're not following thoughts anymore. Or no, maybe so you could still follow thoughts, of course, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's just what happens.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so following a thought, not following a thought. But here, there's just nobody to follow thoughts already. There's just the thoughts, and some can feel, let's say, stickier than others.
Mm.
But like that's okay if they're sticky. That's sort of the revelation. Like in the spiritual community, sticky thoughts are bad.
Mm.
You need to get rid of those. Yeah, you're still attached. You're not there yet.
Mm.
Well, what if that's it too? What if
Yeah.
sticky thoughts are exactly 100% as much this as crystal clear clarity?
And you don't feel a difference. I mean, with sticky thoughts or not sticky thoughts.
Well,
Yeah, what
it's
does
just that they're no longer a problem.
yeah.
It's okay. They can be, what's wrong with sticky thoughts, you know? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
yeah.
There's so everything is kind of the same in a sense.
Well, okay, now we're
It's
getting,
in it's embraced equally, maybe, or
is it
sticky
gray?
thoughts, like being oh, having delicious tea is the same as like, oh, having something really horrible.
Mm-mm,
Like, yeah, no.
mm-mm. So that's why we get into paradox. Why this
Mm,
is often, you'll hear this talked about, it's a paradox because they're not the same, right? A delicious tea, like you're enjoying, is not
Yeah,
the same as gutter water. They're not the same. They're different.
they're different.
And they're both this. They're equally this.
Mm.
So
They'll be seeming like drinking a cup of tea. It's like the the after effect is like nice, peaceful. Drinking gutter water, it'll be like, oh shit, you know,
yeah, it
oh, I
would be
get
a different
that's the it'll be a different
it
like
would be a different experience, but it's still this.
yeah, yeah,
So that's the no escape. You've heard that. I know you've heard there's no escape from this. So whatever seems to happen is always this, whether it's liked or not liked, it's still this.
yeah. Whether you're sitting peacefully after the cup of tea or you're trying to get to a hospital to pump your
Yeah.
stomach out, it's still it's still so in that sense, there's a kind of a relaxation, I guess,
Well,
of
yeah.
just allowing things to just be, even if it's
Well,
yes, seemingly chaotic.
otherwise you wouldn't be seeking. If there wasn't, you know what I mean? If something in you, right? Something in you didn't suspect that living as a separate person doesn't feel good, you would just, it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, keep going. Like what? So
But there's something, there's this, you could say emptiness wanting to recognize emptiness, just to
mm.
tell a story.
Yeah, no, that's a good story. Um, so do you feel that you don't seek, or re relatively speaking, seeking may arise?
Not really. Somebody asked me this Wednesday night at our meeting, you
Yeah,
know, and I used to go to Nkosi's meetings, I used to go to Sanders meetings, but it just, first the ability to read all the non-duality books fell away a couple of years ago. Like that was the
mm,
first thing to go. Was one day I got up, I just couldn't read another word. Could not.
mm.
Like I just knew it. Like they're going in
Right.
boxes. So there was something here realized, well, what good does it do me if Muji is enlightened or Adashante is enlightened? It doesn't help me.
Mm,
So there became kind of like a turning within. Like what is always here? Because it's got to always be here, or what good is it going to be? You know?
mm,
So there just became this natural interest in just what's happening.
mm.
It's like you want to discover this for yourself. You don't want to read it in a book, or you don't want to hear what someone else has to say, even though it can be nice. The real oomph, the juice is for you, in a way that's you're only ever talking to yourself.
I just had the thought of like, when your foot goes to sleep and you have pins and needles in your foot. There's something that's trying to awaken the foot or allow it to just come back to normal.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it would feel really horrible. And then when it's come back alive again and it's normal, then it's like, okay.
Hmm.
It's good.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting how that this doesn't hit everybody the same, right? Because there's a lot of people that don't even wouldn't think this is crazy, what we're discussing, right? For
mm, mm,
most, there isn't I call it the hair on fire. Here, the hair was on fire. The seeking was not a joke, was not funny. I was in a lot of pain for most of my life.
mm,
And I hated it. I hated the feeling of separation and just being disconnected. And I could never, like, it never was solved. Like, I never answered why, it just everything seemed to melt. It's like the trying blocked this. As long as there was an attempt to get somewhere, I couldn't see this, what already is.
mm. So you became so attracted to knowing what already is. Like you wanted to, because like you were saying, so what if this teacher is enlightened, or like it's like how's it affecting my experience or my life?
Yeah.
So you became more serious, like what is happening right now?
Yeah. It's sort of like, I mean, this is a really, but it's like, why do I want to go see someone else's diamond on
Mm,
display
mm,
when I want my own diamond right here?
mm, mm.
I don't
That's
want,
beautiful.
yeah,
Mm,
I don't want Ramana's diamond. I don't want Nisargadatta's diamond. I don't want, Muji's diamond. I want what is here now that's the diamond already.
so now you're not looking for a diamond.
Well, this is the diamond. That's the funny
Yeah.
part. It's like everything's the diamond. You would see that's what you would never suspect. You would never think everything's the diamond,
Mm,
right? Like depression. Oh my God. Not in a million years would you ever suspect depression as being the diamond. No way.
mm.
It's too horrible. It's too icky. I want it away. It doesn't feel good. Yeah, it's still this. As is wanting it to go away. The wanting it to go
I
away is
was just I was just gonna say something. No. there's been some stories of like spiritual beings in India who have been some of the Sikh gurus who were tortured by another group, and they were like put in boiling water or something. There's some saint who sits on a pile of shit, I don't know, and says all of this is God. Um, they're like really strong demonstrations of like, oh wow, that wow, they're seeing this as God, and you can actually feel it, that they're just embracing it. They're just stories, but there must be some of that happening in your life. Otherwise, we can say like we just run, like depression, and then just like, okay, well, I don't want this, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get rid of the depression, but it's it anyway.
exactly. As is trying to do something about it. See, that's the beauty of the no escape. The depression is it, as is trying to alleviate the depression. Maybe eating a chocolate bar, taking a
yeah,
drug. doing
yeah,
something to get out of pain. Very natural.
yeah. Um, mm. But you're more in love with life dramatically, I guess. Like you said, there's more free attention.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You're just more available for others. It's just no longer all about you. You know, that's
Mm.
the thing with me. With me, it's all about me first. And that was the suffering here. So now it's just about what's happening right now in the moment. And all that's happening is you and I are having just a little lovely discussion about something that can't really be talked about.
Do you like being like by yourself? Like, well, say, could you be like, do you equally enjoy being in an empty room?
Well, yeah, I've been pretty on my own since I was a kid. I mean, yeah, I'm very comfortable and used to being alone and spend a lot of time alone, actually.
Mm, that's nice. Your room is so simple. There's nothing on the walls. Is this like just a meeting room, or do you have other rooms?
No, this is my living room.
There,
I have
this
a
is the room.
I have a one bedroom. So there's a bedroom which was
Yeah.
off camera, and then there's the
Okay.
living room. And I
Oh,
used to hold meetings here. You know, I
yeah,
told
I
you I
see
used
the
to have
chairs.
so the chair, yeah, I used to have them here. But then COVID came and I went online. It was the greatest thing ever,
Made
you
it
know.
simple.
Well, because I got to meet people from all over the world versus people that could just get here, by car.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. Oh, so it must be really nice. Like when do you enjoy the group? Your group seem nice. You have a good, nice community. It feels people seem quite intelligent.
Well, the thing about the meetings, like on my meeting on Wednesday night, that stands out to me is everybody's free to express however exactly they're feeling. Like there's no criticism, no judgment. No one's going to jump on you and say, you're not there. No, exactly as you're experiencing this is welcome to be shared. And I don't know very many places that you can do that. I don't know of a whole lot of meetings that everyone's free to share without anyone, interrupting, correcting, arguing, debating. That doesn't seem to go on. It's more the norm for people to debate, this idea, my idea, you're wrong, I'm right. That's
Mm.
sort of the whole game that's going on, which is fine. It's beautiful, but here there was no peace in that. Like here,
Oh,
peace was more important than being right.
same. I'm not much of a debater, unless it's going to come to peace. Otherwise, what's the point in debating? For me,
Beautiful.
like, um,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't usually respond when people I get, well, who's saying that, Michael? They'll ask, it's sort of take it or leave it. You
mm,
know, that's what I can say about this message. It's either resonates or it doesn't. There's no sales pitch here.
mm.
Something in you goes, I don't know how, but all I get somehow that all is this, even though if I don't see it, it doesn't matter.
I've been feeling it a little bit more recently, and it's like, okay, so it's all it's just all this. Like, so this is, like I said, have you ever used the word God? What does God mean to you, the word God?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, when I was a kid, I was a born again Christian. Even though I was raised in a Jewish family, I was a born again Christian really
Mm,
twice. So I spent a lot of time with the Bible and God, but it was again, it was always a personal God. You know, why is God angry? Why is God jealous? You know, it still had all the trappings of a human being. So
yeah.
I just, you know, at a certain point, the word didn't matter here. I didn't really care what you call. You can call it love, God, oneness. You know what I mean? You can't,
Heaven.
yeah, heaven. You can't nail it. You're not going to be able to nail it. And somehow that's a freedom that no matter what you say, you're never going to say exactly what this is. And somehow there's a beauty to, to, to that, you know,
Mm,
like a freedom. Like everybody, you know, that's in a way, I guess that's what was sort of seen here. It's like nobody can say this perfectly. You know, no guru, no Ramana didn't say it perfectly. Muji doesn't, you know, nobody says it, you know, Eckhart Tolle, love the guy, but you know, even these words right here are not saying it perfect. It's not possible.
Did you hear that door? Like, it kept like closing, and I wanted to go close it, but I didn't want to leave. But it finally
Go
just
ahead.
slammed
Oh, it did.
shut.
There you go. It took care, it took care of itself.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do for the rest of your day?
Um,
Curious how
well,
someone spends their
I don't
time.
know. I just talked to Leela about doing a big Zoom meeting in about 2 weeks to see if she wanted to like
Oh,
you know, her and I to we haven't,
that's that's beautiful because that will really like give her a taste of being in a big group.
yeah,
That's a wonderful idea.
yeah. And of course you would be welcome as well. So we
Oh,
just came up with it this morning. So it's just in its infancy, you know, discussing what to call it, who, you know, maybe there's some other people that we want to have there if possible. So we'll see what happens.
I love that because
Yeah,
it really like I was just feeling like how there's all these separate teachers, and I'm like, I've just had this, the thought comes into my mind. Why can't there be like,
yeah,
why is there like separate
yeah.
teachers doing their own little thing?
Exactly. I had the same thought, same thing. I
Yeah,
love
like
it.
how beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's such joy here. Here, when I meet someone like Leela who resonates, her and she really talk about this in almost the same way. And it's for me, it's so rare and it's such a like a
Oh,
treat. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, like in a way, that was all I was ever looking for was someone who saw it kind of like I did. I
mm.
couldn't find anybody. I'm like, God,
Oh, that's so
everybody
lovely.
seems to have a life and you know, a family and you know,
Mm.
they seem okay with that. But here there was just wanting to find like-minded.
I feel the same.
I think a title just came to me for this video.
Huh.
Um, Empty already. So it's all empty. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every object.
Empty. Like, empty.
So, so that's what I mean about this can't be believed. Like everything being empty is not a belief. It's just somehow, yeah.
Or everything is empty, or everything is just, or everything is so beautiful.
Well, that's the thing. Empty is not a negative. Like, I guess
Yeah.
you're right. Some,
That's why I was saying,
yeah,
like I was repeating it. It's
yeah,
like, what does that mean
yeah,
to me?
yeah. I
But
see that. But I don't mean it that way. I get that to
no,
me it can sound, but here empty is it's like falling in love with empty.
it's empty, but it's so open. It's
Well,
like empty. It's empty, like, and it's empty. Like sometimes, like, yourself. It's easy to like just feel you. It's easy to just behold you without like, feeling weird. And that's what when I say that was divine, it means that I can just be myself and beholding this something, uh, and I don't feel I need to be anything else. I can just be absorbed, or my attention is just whoop.
yeah.
So then empty. Like I met Alexis a few weeks ago.
Oh, did you go to her? No, you didn't go to, did you?
I did, I
Oh,
did.
oh,
It was in Livermore, and I never in when I saw the videos online, I didn't really connect, and I was like, is this being genuine? I'm sorry, Alexis, but then when I came to the meeting, I could feel it because I was being absorbed. It was like just like absorbed in that
yeah.
body. And I was like, okay, it doesn't matter what the might be saying or how but like I could feel it. And I was just feeling that is a sacred being or a vortex, actually. That's was because it's empty. There's no center, but there's something there. It's kind of like it's a black hole, maybe.
But the emptiness, it's like here, there was something that was like this doesn't have to be, you know? It's like the empty is also the full. So the full is this. So without the empty, there can't be the full. Like, where would it be, you know? So it's like there becomes this appreciation that there's even anything,
There's an appreciation
that there's
that there's.
that there's even anything, you know? Because it could be like just to tell a story, it could be like your deep sleep,
Mm,
right? When you're in deep sleep, nothing's happening.
there's yeah, there's no
So
memory.
in a way, you could say a dream is emptiness expressing if it could.
Is he was saying that yesterday. Somebody asked her, like, is this? And she was, we could say that it's always deep sleep, that it's that empty, always,
Yes.
whether it's waking, dreaming,
Yeah.
whatever's seeming is still just deep sleep, as empty.
Appearing as this dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mm,
I mean,
that's nice. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it's funny when you meet with someone like I know it can feel like this is like they don't see you as separate, right? Like I don't see you as separate. So that's going to have a different feel, than as if the imagining that there's two separate, like I'm separate and I have my world and you're separate and you have your world. No.
You don't have like the that armor anymore, maybe. Like when you meet a separate being, like there can be an armoring. So
Sure.
you don't see this as separate from
No, not from this. Like
yeah yeah
everything, the screen, you, the body, the air, the birds, everything is seamless. Like there's literally no division, even if it's imagined. Like you can imagine that we're separate, but I'm not, I don't see any separation. You have to go to a thought to say, well, he's there and, where are you in? What city?
Berkeley.
You're in Berkeley, okay, and I'm in Los Angeles. So there you go. There's two thoughts. He's in
Yeah.
Berkeley,
Oh,
I'm in
mm,
Los Angeles. But without those
right.
two thoughts,
So you don't have much thoughts then. I mean, compared to before.
they slow down.
Mm,
There's not that. You know how it is when someone's not very interested in you, you tend to go away. So, like when we're seeking, the me feels like thoughts are so important, so heavy.
mm, mm,
And then all of a sudden you realize, well, they're just thoughts. They're not mine. They're not about me. They have nothing to do with me.
mm,
That's a freedom. And even if it feels like your thoughts are yours, even that is okay.
mm. Do you do you experience like being in that room in your home? There's a different there's a different appearance that's happening, and being in like a shopping mall maybe, or being talking with different people, like something might be appearing, like maybe sometimes more thoughts and more agitation seemingly appearing.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything can happen, but like, do you ever get that experience where, you go somewhere, but yet you still feel like you're at home, like you still feel the same?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
like if you go to Hawaii now and you're in the
yeah.
hotel room in Hawaii, you still feel like you. You, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The thing that you can't really wrap your is that it's both everything is uniquely the same, if I can say that. Uniquely the same. So everything's different.
Mm,
It's not the same. A tree is not the same, as a can of soup,
mm,
but there's still all this. There's nothing that's not this. And
mm,
this can show up any way, anyhow. There's
mm,
just no rules for this. It's the
mm.
freedom.
It's always completely unique. Always.
Hmm. Complete.
That's what
I
I,
like that.
yeah,
Complete, because
that's
it's
what,
complete as it is. So the stress is complete, the depression's complete, and yet it's unique. It's not the same as joy and bliss. So
I've never felt that before, actually. Like it's life is always completely and always unique. That's what this is. What you said, this is, it's always new. it's never the same. Like
Never.
the
It
mis
never has
yeah.
been. There's never been a
Mm,
past. It's just always been this. Even with a thought can arise of a past. That thought arising of a past is happening only ever now, only ever here. So it can feel like there's a past and you can seem to reminisce, but that's always happening where?
no, yeah.
Yeah.
You can never experience the same thing twice, I think. Maybe that's impossible. I think
Yeah. It's all
you can never
fresh and
experience
new.
the
It's like I use the analogy of a projector on a
same.
movie screen. So it's frame by frame. There's an image on one frame that gets projected, and that's what's happening. And then boom, that frame goes away, and the next image pops in, and now it seems to be movement, and it's just. But the last image has to be completely gone to make space for the new image.
Mm.
You have any final comments or questions for me?
No. But I was going to say thank you. Just it's just nice to just be quiet with somebody as well. Sometimes I enjoy that.
Lovely. Well, you're always invited Wednesday night, 6 o'clock p.m., you know, our time,
Wednesdays,
Pacific time. I have my
six
Zoom.
o'clock. That
Yeah.
sounds lovely. Yay. And then where do I find the details? Oh, is the Zoom link?
No, I'll send you
Oh,
you can, we're on Meetup. So once you just go, it's free to join meetup.com. It's, and then you'll get an email with the link each week.
oh, thank you, Michael.
Yeah. It's my pleasure. What a joy. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, thank you. And the biggest revelation was that life is always like nothing's ever the same. It was like really strong. It was like it can never be the same. Just that's just inherent in life. It's even if it seems the same, it's never the same. Like, you're gonna have different feelings or whatever. You
Yeah.
might be sitting in the same room, but it's never ever the same. I
Beautiful.
don't think.
Yeah,
Mm,
even what seems to be the same thought is fresh and new, even though it can
mm,
seem like I've had the thought for, 20 years. It's still appearing here for the first time. It's like when you turn a TV set on. Every time you
yeah,
turn it on, isn't it brand new? Like whatever you're seeing on the screen, it's never.
yeah. It's interesting. Mm. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, brother. So
Oh,
appreciated our
uh,
time together.
oh,
We'll be in touch.
yeah. I'll message you.
That'd be
And
great. Thank you so
all
much.
right. Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.